hello there, YouTube, and welcome to Thursday the 24th. This is the last nice day. Well, tomorrow, I don't think it's much rain, but it's going to be cloudy and cool. It's, I don't know, it's about 55 out here, and mostly sunny. It's quite nice. But anyway, it's about quarter to 3 out here in the afternoon. Well, I've been studying stuff. You guys remember when I rode the Pan America home? I didn't mention it in the video, but I noticed that the whole is driving me absolutely crazy on the way home. So I got home. I loosened the pinch bolt on the axle, the upper triple tree clamps, and straightened it out. I leveled the bars with the cluster, the dash assembly. Well, the first time, Kelly and I went for a ride afterwards, the first thing I said to her, I go, I feel like the bars are pointing right. And I'm looking down at the cluster. I go, no, it's just perfectly level with the cluster. And everything's cool. But when I went out to Rife Lake, I spent hours on that thing. Then we went for a ride yesterday. We were gone for about 3 hours. And these things are off. The bars are off. So I'm thinking the bars are bent. And I'm thinking, man, these tapered, they look like Pro Taper bars or a copy of. And knowing the style, that probably are Pro Tapers just being used by Harley. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's about impossible to bend those. If they do, it's pretty violent, and there's other telltale signs that something really bad happened, So anyway, Doug Morgan, as you know, up in Alberta, he purchased a Pan America about a week after me, maybe a little bit more, and he's telling me, he goes, my fairing frame's bent, so he brought it in for the 1,000-mile first service, and to have that addressed. Well, the fairing frame's bent, but it's more than the fairing frame, or the fairing bracket, is I think the technical term for it is. But anyway, it's not the bracket itself. It's how there's two tabs facing sideways on the steering neck, and those are welded on wrong, whether a robot slipped or a jig slipped or whatever the case may be. But it seems to be like later 22s and some of the 23s had it. It's not all of them, but people have noticed them. So I come in, when I got back yesterday, I'm convinced. So I measure these bars out. Well, let's just go in and talk about it there with the bike there. And it's easier to show and tell than to just stare out into the wilderness. But it is beautiful out here. It's windy. I think something may need to go for a ride today. So I've been going crazy out here measuring stuff, and mine is in fact off. So excuse me, I zeroed in. The bars are absolutely straight with the frame, and this thing is very precariously sitting here, but this is perfectly straight going down the bike, assuming the subframe isn't cockeyed or something, but it's aligning in too many points to not be off. So there's center with the bars, how well I can make this thing show up or not. But if you look right here, if you can see that little shiny spot, that's the ambient light sensor. Look at the ruler compared to that. Now mine is very lightly off, but if you look down and compare the level of the bar with the level of the dash, you can see it's slightly, it looks like my bars are facing the left a little bit. Well, them bars are absolutely straight. And if you pay close attention, there's an ever so slight shift of the shield. Now, the pictures I seen on this forum that he pointed me to, where guys are talking about it, they're pretty drastic. Now this, even the headlight and everything's all cockeyed sideways, and I mean, looking at it straight on, it's crazy. This one I can see that it's ever so, because you get that much distance, and it's ever so slightly leaning over. But if you look at the gap between right here, and look at the tape measure, you can see, I'm trying to get this as straight as I can, you can see that it's ever so slightly off. But if you look straight down, man, there's no way I can make this camera do what my eyes can see. And you look straight down, you can see my wheel is facing left. So that's the amount. Well, actually, it was off quite a bit. I mean, if you pay attention to the video when I drive home, it was off quite a bit. So the steering was off. But when I adjusted the steering, I made it exact to the flatness of this against the cluster, and I adjusted it too much. So the difference when I was going down the road, what I was doing, I'll just disturb this thing. I've seen what I needed to see here. So do this in a way that I don't let this thing fly and scratch something. So measuring the bar, this is dead center. Now ignore these bolts because all this stuff is offset. Like if you measure the distance, like from the end of these bolts are offset. You can see even the hole, the way the lock is in there, is offset. I think I wasn't pointing the camera. But this is dead center on the bike, and measuring from that point to the end of the bar, these bars are sitting exact. And so I'll have to adjust my front wheel to match that, but I'm gonna have to go down the road for a while, steering that ever so shifted to the right look. It's really noticeable if you look along. Well, this cable kind of disturbs things, but you can clearly see there's more of a gap between the edge of the display and the side of that handlebar bracket compared to this side. If I'm even getting that centered, it's hard to do with a camera in your hand. So it is off, without question. So apparently they've come up with a bracket, but the examples I've seen are pretty drastic. I don't know how far Doug's was off, but mine's barely off. So one of two things has happened. I guess Harley flew out to one dealer, sent a guy out, and they had an adjusted bracket that compensates for it, which I'd be totally happy with that, because all it's doing is holding this stuff up here. I mean, it's not a structural part of the frame or anything like that. I've got this back on, but the bolts that hold it down. But anyway, they're either they have this adjusted bracket, but is every bike off that are off by the same? Because the pictures I've seen, the ones, they're way off, like way off. And it's these little, I can't even really show you with this. I'd have to turn the handlebars and everything. I just don't want to disturb. I want to tie this thing down so these don't move as much. Use some soft ties, and you don't tie them down tight, but make sure I get that straight and align the front wheel. I got lasers and stuff that I lay on the floor so I can see in relation to. I can do it on a motorcycle. I can actually do it by looks. 99. I'll be 99% close. But anyway, I need to send the information, get a hold of Northwest Harley, and say, hey, look, this thing's off. But the second solution is replacing the frame. I've replaced a lot of frames in my years working at motorcycle shops. And nowadays, with all the technology and everything you got to take off of these things, I would not accept that. There's nobody going to put a frame in this thing. The frame's going in, it's going to be me. And like I told Doug, they're not going to hand me a frame over. You know, I'm not a certified Harley tech. It just will never in a million years happen. And this thing is registered to me now. And once it's registered, they don't just, it's a big deal. The dealer's not going to take the motorcycle back. The only way they would take the motorcycle back is Harley themselves taking it back. And we've had that happen with BMW, and I think we've had other bikes over the years that the manufacturer just took it back. So how's that for bummer news of the day? Like I say, it's one of those things, once you see it, you can't unsee it. But I do need to make sure, because them bars being turned like that is making the forks travel incorrectly through the tubes. And long term, that can wear out your bushings and all kinds of stuff in the forks. Poor old Pan America. She's done been shot down before she had a chance. It's nothing fatal. It's no big deal. However, I personally, if it comes to replacing a frame, I can fix this thing without replacing the frame and without replacing the bracket. And yeah, she sees two look like barrel type things. The lower one is substantial. I'm assuming that's where the steering stop is for the lower tree. It's quite substantial, and then it looks just like a barrel welded sideways on the down tube on the steering neck, and it just got jigged wrong or something. And the most amazing thing is, how did it get through Harley-Davidson's quality checks? I mean, literally, how did it get through them? And then it makes it to the dealer, the steering's sideways and the dash is bent, and no one noticed it. It's because usually the mainline techs aren't the guys putting them together, and that's what's scary. But people just didn't notice it. I noticed the bars, and it wasn't until I realized I was riding with this bar an inch farther forward than that bar. And I felt it the first time I rode it, and I keep looking down, and I go, everything's aligned. I just didn't put anything together. But when I twist the steering the way it is, it goes down the road straight, and everything looks perfectly aligned. But the reality is, it's not perfectly aligned. So I need to adjust the forks a bit. And so it's going down the road straight. I don't want to have any bind in those forks. Like I say, long term, that's ugly. So how's that for a heck of a how do you do? Poor old Pan America. Shit's fixable though. It's all fixable. Well, let's hope I got the steering all aligned correctly here. Mama says you're gonna freeze out there. So it ain't that bad. It's showing it's 54 out here. We'll give her a shot. But it's nice. No longer feeling like I have one arm got longer and the other one got shorter. So my hands are square on the handlebars once again. As you can see the difference in the gap. Let's see if I can get the GoPro straight. It can distort things. The gap here compared to there. She's definitely moved over. Such is life in the big city. You can change the mapping modes on this thing without letting go of the throttle. It'll actually change while you're on the throttle, which is kind of weird. What's cool is you get that instant. It's like turning eco mode on and off on a Spyder. It goes from completely gutless to happy, Still amazes me, the ones that come in and that eco mode's turned on. I'm like, wow. You not realize you're actually getting worse gas mileage, and you're not doing nice things to your engine. Sure is pretty. Boy, there's a lot of burnouts get done right in this little strip. I'm sure the neighbors are loving that. Unless they're car buffs, I think it's cool. Yeah. I wonder what kind of a ordeal I'll have to go through getting all this sorted out. I think I can still go right with the bars slightly.
I was tightly confined in there, so I was just eyeballing it. So the front wheel, that is, and if I got it slightly off, then everything else is going to be off. Said old squatchy. Wow. There's parts of that shield I just can't see it past that thing. That drives me. You know, we roll over hills, it gets to where you're looking through the shield. With such grace. I don't think you can do anything to upset this thing. About what gear I'm in and anything like that, going up the hill here on this like I do my Himalayan, which I don't mind that. It's funny to people that, you know, have ridden those things. I just don't know how you could ever ride something like that. Dude, it's a thing, and if you don't get it and you can't ride one and enjoy it, you're not a true motorcyclist. You should be able to jump on anything, even a moped, and go out there and put a smile on your face. Everything's not about how fast you can go and how much power it makes. That's young newbies thinking. How fast is it? How quick is it? What's the horsepower? Doesn't matter, it's two wheels. Get on it and ride it and enjoy it. How many people come up here and just turn around just like I'm doing? They look like they're all automobiles though. Crazy how the new comes off of this thing. There's the bracket, you can see it coming through right there. Comes off, wise up to everything. So the bracket isn't the problem, it's the how it's welded to the frame. Seems weird that you could make a mistake like that. Very strange. But with that, when I had those things aligned, I just never even noticed. I just noticed that, you know, had one arm more bent than the other, and I'm going, you know, since the day I did that, the first time I rode it, I'm going, man, it seems like the bars are like this. Well, when I spent all that time on it, I'm looking down the road, and I can see the bars are literally, I'm just going to exaggerate, but I mean, literally they feel like that. I could see it. You know, like this, that feels straight, which makes that off. Well, Squatchy's not going to show, so we'll try some other day. Oh, look at the sun. Yeah. The house at the end of the lane. Actually, that's a long ways from the end. You know, I drove you guys all the way out. Oh, that's not this one. But there's more houses out there. In fact, the last time I drove out that way, there was quite a few more houses there. Bambi when it's like that. One thing about these things, they're not lacking any comfort. It is amazing how comfortable this thing is. It's funny, you know, you spend all that time on it, you just don't even, the thought just doesn't even come to me to get off. Most other bikes I ride, you know, after an hour or two, you know, you're not hurting or anything, but it's about time to get off. The stock seat on my DR 650, that thing after about 2 hours becomes a torture device. That is just too much for me. Now you're swapping cheeks on the seat and doing whatever. I got a lot of gravel in the middle of that. Let's not do anything aggressive. But I got donated a air hawk by one of our vendors, and I use that on the DR. I can never find the right amount of air to have in there that I get the comfort without feeling like I'm rolling on jelly rolls. Ultimately I just can't deal with it. They do work, but if you're just like touring or something. But if you're out horsing around like you tend to do on a dual sport or an adventure bike, man, it's just not having that correct contact with your buttocks on the seat. I mean, look at all the motocross bikes now. They have the grip seats on them. Road racers and stuff. Yeah, actually the idea is to stay on it. You know, it's not how comfortable it is. When you're doing super fast stuff like that, you're not worried about comfort anyway. It's not like you're going to be on it for hours. You're on it for a moto, that's it. I actually left the ground there for a second. I realized that was that big of a hump back there. Where the heat of the summer makes the oils kind of sweat through with the tar. That always freaks Kelly out. She thinks it's you know, wet or icy or something, you know. Yeah, even at road mode, it can aggressively react to the roads there, which is good. Man, that muted down little custom map thing I made with the soft throttle and comfort suspension. I swear, like when you come to a stop, you can bounce on this thing, and there's no oil in the shock. It's like you're just like you blew the main seal out of the shock, and you're just bouncing on the spring. What a pleasure this thing. Absolutely amazing. Heck, even the power in road mode is plenty enough. The map I made for kind of go fast stuff is boy, she's nervous. She's very on and off. There's not a halfway soft spot in between. You're either getting thrown through the windshield or taking a good grip on the bars there. It is fun to mess with though. Look at St. Helens out there. Look at the good old coat of snow she has. It's light, you can tell. 53, that's not bad. I think that was our high today, maybe. But it was 55 when I left the house. Yeah, somebody pulling out of that long driveway that leads out to that farmhouse. I love that. Sign me up. There, Jeep person. Yeah, look at the clouds rolling in. Rolling on. Oh, look at that little halo going around the sun. It almost looks like a rainbow. This one to be sitting around much. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Holy moly. The little sunset colors. That halo going around the sun. That is wicked cool. Anyway, we'll roll on to the house. We'll give the mama do a goodbye before it turns dark on us. Thanks for coming along for a rip. Well, hello there, YouTube. Nobody. The clouds are rolling in on us. It's supposed to be mostly cloudy tomorrow. Then rain on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Dadgummit.
Evilness is coming.
Give me excuses to fiddle with different things, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
But
No problem.
yeah, kind of a bummer about that fairing frame, as I've always known it, or fairing bracket is probably what they're referring to it as, being off. It's not the bracket itself, it's actually the frame, ironically. But I can fix that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I don't even know if I'm even going to mess with even bother anybody, but I think I'm just going to go in there and fix it. My first rodeo. And it's so slightly off that just the smallest amount's gonna put it back where it needs to be. It takes some ciphering to make sure it's a long period of not riding it, because I'm going to take all that stuff apart. But anyway, I'll call the Harley shop anyway, see what they say. I know they're going, well, let's get down here and look at it.
Yeah.
I know. You can look at my video, look at my pictures. If that's not good enough for you, sayonara. I'll fix it myself. But anyway, nice ride. Lovely bike. Absolutely love that thing. The more I ride it,
Nice.
the more I like it, which is a very good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But on that, we're going to roll out.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same smoke time, same smoke channel. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, and you guys have an amazing Friday or Saturday.
Heck yeah. Mom's got that winter thing going on. She's just full-fledged into her craft stuff again.
Yes, I am.
Anyway, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.